Now, good morning, everyone. I think we'll go ahead and get started. I'd like to welcome everyone to Built for a Purpose, featuring Katie French and Harvey Hook. My name is Ralph Smithers, and I am the AVP of Diversity and Community Relations at Encova Insurance, and I'm going to be the moderator of the program this morning. But we're really glad for all of you that could take your time early on a Friday morning to be here. And I just wanted, before we cover some the sponsors and things like that, I just want to do a few housekeeping items. First of all, if you haven't already, we would like to ask you to put your microphones on mute. That will help us manage what we're doing here to the fullest ability and make this so that we can show our recordings later on. And I did want to mention to you that this particular program is being recorded, and it's also being streamed out to Facebook. So we just wanted to let you know about that, and we hope that if we know that you're going to enjoy this program, but if you would like to see it again or share it with a colleague, we will be able to provide some instructions later on as to where you can see that. This program is sponsored by Encova Insurance, Overmeyer Hall Associates, the Joseph Group Capital Management, Fifth Third Bank, Marketing Works, Nationwide Children's Hospital, IGS Energy, and Arnett Technologies. We would like to thank all of our sponsors for making this program possible. And like I said earlier, we're really happy for you to be here. One more housekeeping item. We know that you might have questions during the program, and the way that we're going to manage that is to ask you to use the chat function to do that. And if you can find Amy Cooley on the line, we would like to ask you to direct any questions that you have to her, or if you put them out in the general stream, she should also see those. And then we'll be bringing her on later on if you have questions to help facilitate the program. So, as I reflect on this program and thinking about it, you know, there is no more important time to have a sense of purpose, especially when we're in times of crisis. We're in a time that you know, I tell everyone that I talk to that if we can make it through the end, we're going to have one great story to tell, and a lot of the people that aren't around now probably won't believe us. And you know, when I think about purpose, I think about, you know, what is it that motivates us to get out of bed, even when the conditions are terrible, even when it's pouring down raining, even when we might otherwise be having a bad day. What is our purpose? What is it that makes us go and feel a connection to the higher calling that we all seek in life? So we hope that this program will help uncover some thoughts about that for you. We have some great people to talk about that much better than I can, so we will be bringing them on here in just a moment. But today's session is called Built for Purpose, and we're excited to have some conversation here today to help you find your purpose or get better focus so that you can, you know, not only find that higher calling, but also maybe help and coach others to do the same. We have a very special guest this morning. I'm really excited that we have Katie French on the program today. Katie was born in Washington, Wilkes, Georgia, and raised in Greene County, and now resides in Covington, which is about 30 minutes east of Atlanta. And she tells me that it's not as cold there today as it is here in Columbus. She is the praise and worship leader of the Park Place Church in Snellville, Georgia. She's a devoted wife to Clinton French and mother to two of the most beautiful girls in the world. Her song, "The Fridge Again," went viral earlier this year as a humorous response to COVID and lockdowns and every other American's fascination with the refrigerator during this time. So we've all, you know, we call it COVID-19, not just because that's the year that they discovered the coronavirus, but because that's how many pounds that we have to deal with in case we find that fridge too many times. So before we bring Katie onto the program, we're going to play her video. And then after after we play the video, we're going to bring KD on and ask her some questions about it. So let's go ahead and take a look at that video.
Really?
Not
You
even.
ain't even
Lord,
hungry.
Somebody stop me.
She's at the fridge again.
I'm at the fridge again.
She's at the fridge
Oh,
again.
calling my name.
She's at the fridge again.
I'm at the fridge again.
She's at the fridge again.
I need a little help from you.
Please come get
I
her.
think I'm doing a little too much.
She doing too
Oh, I'm at
much.
the fridge again.
She's at the fridge again.
Oh, I'm at the fridge again.
She's at the fridge
Tell
again.
them again, y'all. Fridge.
She's at the fridge again.
Oh, I'm at the fridge again.
She's at the fridge
I think it's
again.
time for my snack,
She's at the
y'all.
fridge
But it's only
again.
been 2 minutes since the last visit.
She's at the fridge
Oh,
again.
I'm gonna need your help.
Please come get her.
I need you right now.
She needs your
at the
help.
fridge again.
She's at the fridge
Lord,
again.
have mercy, the fridge again.
She's at the fridge
Wait a
again.
minute. What about the chicken?
Sit down.
Mashed potatoes.
Sit down.
Them collard greens.
Sit down.
How about them
Oh, go
bagels?
sit down.
Oh, some fruit.
Sit down.
Watermelon.
Sit down.
Ice cream.
Sit down.
Oh,
Oh,
what?
go sit down.
How about a pickle?
Sit down.
Popsicle.
Sit down.
Or a slice of cheese.
Sit down.
Oh,
Oh, go
please.
sit down.
I need some juice.
Sit down.
Kool-Aid.
Sit down.
Minute Maid.
Sit down.
Gatorade.
Oh, go sit down.
I want to eat.
You don't need it.
I need to eat.
You don't need it.
I want to eat.
You don't need it.
Right now.
You don't need it.
Give me food.
You don't need it.
Give me snacks.
You don't need
I
it.
won't take it back.
You don't need it.
Oh, yeah.
You don't need it.
My
Whoa, whoa. Please come get
I
her.
want to see about me.
She doing too
at the
much.
fridge again.
She's at the fridge again.
Oh, at the fridge again.
She's at the fridge again.
Oh, Lord.
Sit
Come on.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. So we're happy to have KD French, the creator of that wonderful viral video, on the program today. And KD, I have some questions to you about purpose and things like that. But before we start, I just have to ask, what inspired you to put this together? And without giving away any secrets, I'm not sure I could duplicate that, but without giving away any secrets, how long did it take to make this program, this video? And what inspired you?
Oh, eating inspired me. The repetitious times of eating. I was supposed to be watching a movie on Netflix, and I tell everybody I don't even remember what I was trying to watch. I just remember the countless times I was back and forth to the fridge, and I felt like I was more so going to the fridge more now than ever. But I always remember repeatedly going to the fridge when I'm sitting around bored or feeling like I had nothing to do, because I'm an emotional eater. I eat when I'm happy, mad, sad, glad. So for such a time as now, this is when it really popped off. But the countless times I was back and forth to the fridge, it took me only an hour and 30 minutes to prepare this song on the app that I use.
That is amazing. In fact, to be honest with you, I thought it would probably taken you like a couple weeks to put that together. So that's absolutely amazing. So that's
you.
one thing. So I like I said, I'm not going to ever attempt to do something like that. But that was amazing, and thanks for sharing that with us. So
yes.
The theme of today's program is built for a purpose. And what would you say your purpose in life is?
You know, I was sitting thinking about that question. And a lot of times we come to a wall. We may feel like we don't know what our purpose is. Now at this place in my life, I feel like, okay, my mom, she put me in the choir when I was 5 years old. My mom is a minister of music. She plays the piano. She's been playing the piano for over 40 years of her life. Yes, playing the piano for churches since she was 10 years old. My grandmother taking her to these different churches to play for choir. So my mama is where it all started. I come from a singing family. And your parents, for the most part, I feel my mom saw something in me that I, of course, as a child, didn't see. And there are times where, okay, mom, you know, your mom tells you something that you're going to do, and you're going to do it, you know. That's just how my mom was. And there was a time in my life in my teen years where I was trying to run away from all that she's instilled. And I'm reminded of a verse, it's train up a child in the way that they should go. And then when they're old, they won't depart from it. I tried to run away from what mama instilled in me. There was that time. It was a dark time. I was just like, I was tired of this, just doing it because you said I need to do it. But as the years progressed, I remember something my grandmother always told me: God gives and he can take it away. And during that time in my life where I tried to run away from what I was called to do, I realized there were changes. There were changes in my voice. There were changes in my walk. There were changes in my attitude and how I interacted with others. So I say all of that to say that looking back over the years and just thanking God for where I am today, my purpose, I'm always finding myself encouraging others, trying to help people see that there's still hope in the midst of chaos, calamity, or corruption, or whatever. I'm always trying to find, no matter how I'm feeling, I always find myself encouraging others, wanting people to laugh and see the bright side and not focus on what problems they may be facing or what they may be going through. We all have struggles and we all will get through them. But sometimes helping us get through them is an encouraging word, because you just don't know what people are going through at any time in their lives, not just now. So I feel that purpose for me, because I'm always finding myself doing that, is encouraging people, always reminding people that there is still hope.
No, I have to tell you that the energy that you're projecting through the screen, I'm feeling it, and I just feel refreshed just getting a chance to talk to you. So, for those that are still searching for their purpose, and I think maybe you covered it a little bit, but what advice or guidance would you give for someone that maybe they don't have quite the same influencers around, or they're just really trying to find their way? What would you give them any advice, or what kind of thoughts would you offer?
What comes to mind is how I started. I didn't always, when I stated that I was in the choir since I was 5, I was always just singing because my mama told me to get in the choir and sing. I did not have that personal relationship with Christ, but this is how I started. Even however I wake up in the morning, however I'm feeling, I started by just, searching for, I had like a devotional. And you know how some devotionals that you read, if it's a 365-day devotional or a 30-day devotional, and you choose to start reading it whenever, not necessarily in January, not necessarily at the end of the year to start a new year. Anytime you start a devotion, it seems like it hit home right on time. It's like, that's how I started. I started just by getting in the word more, by using a devotional. That's what helped me. And I find myself, when you continuously do something, you form a habit. And the more you do something, I feel, the better you get at it. And my desire was to be closer to Christ. That was my desire. So I found a way that worked for me to get it, because I don't, there are not a lot of, I talk to everybody. I'm a social butterfly, but when it's all said and done, there are times when the mind can take over, when you're sitting idle, when you're not doing much, or when you feel like you're not doing much, or when you just get back to your normalcy or within your home. You never know what goes on behind closed doors. So I always try to find a way to feed good seeds into myself so that I could give it to others. Because like I stated, sometimes you may be the only Bible somebody else reads. So I try to make sure that it encourages me, and I know I'm not alone, which I found out by the fridge again, that I'm not alone when it comes to food. But we are not alone. And a lot of times when we get in our homes, or when we get, when we're isolated from the world or from TV, from everything else, we feel alone. And that's what helps me, reading the word, or reading something that leads me to a scripture or a passage or a story in the Bible that helps keep me in a good headspace. Because what is the saying? The mind is the devil's workshop. If you're just sitting there doing nothing, I'm just always trying to stay positive, no matter what, always.
I can feel it right through the screen. And what we're going to do now is we're going to play another selection that you created, and I think that the second one we're going to play is probably the one you may have been even more comfortable with making, I suspect. But we're going to play that, and then we're going to bring Harvey Hook on right afterwards. So let's go ahead and take a look at that.
I know the Lord will make a way. Oh, yes, He will.
I know the Lord. Yeah. Will make a way. Yeah. Yes, He will. Yeah. Come on. My God. I said, I know the Lord. I know. He will make a way. Yeah. Yes, He will. Yeah. He will make come on now. A way for you. Yes, He will. He will lead you. Yes, lead you safely through. Yes.
Yes.
And I know the Lord.
I know the Lord will make a way. Oh, yes, He will.
Come on. I have a Savior. That's right. Who I can tell all my troubles to. Yes, I do. Take your time. When I am burdened, come on now, and I don't know just what to do. My God, I go to God in secret prayer. I just leave all my burdens right there. I know the Lord.
Will make a way.
He will.
Oh, yes, He will.
Yes, He will.
Yes, He will.
Oh my God,
Yes, He will. Yes, He will.
Yes, He will.
Yes, He will.
Right there.
Yes, He will. Yes, He will.
Yes, He will.
Yes, He will. Yes,
When it
He
seems
will.
to be no way
Yes,
out,
He will.
He will. Oh, yes, He will.
Yes, He will.
Thank you, God.
Yes, He will.
Hallelujah.
Yes, He will.
Oh, I know the Lord.
I know the Lord will make a way.
He will.
Oh, yes, He will.
He will
Yes.
make a way.
Yes.
Yes.
For you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, my God will surely
Yes.
see us through.
Yes.
Y'all.
Yes. Yes.
I know the Lord.
I know the Lord
will
will make a way.
Yes, He will.
Yes, He will.
Hallelujah, God. Thank you, Jesus.
Wow, I needed that this morning. Thank you. Well, we're going to have some more opportunities to interact with Katie as we go through the program, but now I would like to bring on Harvey Hook, and I would like to just do an introduction before we kick it over to him. Harvey is the co-founder of Convene Columbus and Purpose Life, and the author of the 2007 Tinsdale House Publishers' The Power of an Ordinary Life. Prior to his current initiatives, Harvey founded the Gathering Columbus, the Leadership Prayer Breakfast, the Leadership Forum, Relay Leadership, and was one of the 3 founding members of the Central Ohio Youth for Christ. His professional experience includes work with incarcerated teens in Denver, Colorado, urban youth in Columbus, Ohio, impoverished children and families in the Dominican Republic, as well as business, industry, and government leaders in Central Ohio. So I'd like to go ahead and bring on Harvey. Harvey, and we've got KD is showing right there, but once Harvey comes off of mute, he'll pop on.
Hey there, Ralph. Thank you so much for your kind introduction this morning. And Katie, it's great to be able to follow you on the program. Actually, Harvey Hook is one of the most responsible people on the face of the earth. And when he went to bed last night, he did not plug his phone in. He did not set his alarm. And so about 7:21 this morning, with the light streaming through the window, it's like, I think I'm supposed to be somewhere in a few minutes. So the world's fastest shower, the world's fastest shave. I at least have pants on. My feet are bare. So we're going to make our way through this presentation this morning. So delighted to be with you. And Katie, what an inspiration. I'm glad I was able to run you down through the world of social media and get you on today's program, and the privilege of serving alongside of my longtime friend, Ralph Smithers Jr. Well, let's jump right into it. The premise for today is built for a purpose. That's my premise, and I believe we were all created and built for a purpose. One of my favorite all-time sayings is the greatest tragedy in life is not death, but to live a life without purpose. I picked that saying up from a Dr. Miles Monroe, one of my mentors and friends. And so that would kind of be premise 1A. Let me begin. I'm going to kind of more tell a story than teach anything today. I'm going to kind of risk that maybe you may want to hear a few things about me along the way over the next 25 minutes or so. I believe we all engage a struggle in life, and I'm kind of simplifying so many things into 3 points this morning. We all engage a struggle. Sometime during childhood, during our teen years or early adulthood, we realize that we are imperfect human beings living in an imperfect world. Again, that's my worldview that I'm sharing with you. So we engage a struggle. How do we measure up? How do we prove our worth? And there's kind of a couple different pathways we can go. We can pursue the pathway of doing things out there that rack up accomplishments, so those accomplishments that we have prove our worth to ourselves or others. However, I was very unconsciously aware as a teenager, or as an early adult, that there's another way to do life. That we pursue life recognizing that we are individuals of worth, and the things that we do in life reveal the worth that is already within us. One of my accomplishments, or people would remind me of one of my accomplishments of life, happened a number of years ago. Ohio State University had not won the national football championship in 25 years. And I happened to be in a situation with a relationship with Coach Jim Tressel of Ohio State, made an invitation to him for him to speak at one of our events. And about 18 months later, following that information, Coach Tressel was with myself and the leader, many community leaders, and he spoke to a breakfast gathering of 4,000 people. If there was anything disappointing about the morning, is that people wanted more football stories, but what he gave them was a story about his purpose in life. So you could say, I had a choice to make. Was I involved in something like that to prove my worth, or was I somehow living out my purpose in life, and that was the platform I was giving to bring worth and value to others? So in the midst of all this struggle, I think there's a natural inclination to be in love with the underdog in our world. I think probably 97% of us can relate to the underdog. We see something in ourselves and in the underdog that we can relate to. The less privilege, the fewer resources, the smaller platform. And when they excel, somehow we believe we're excelling with them. One of the local underdogs, one of the most iconic leaders in Central Ohio over the last 50 years, was John H. McConnell. Showed up in Columbus with $500, a station wagon, and he turned all that into a global enterprise called Worthington Industries, worth well over $1 billion, employing people thousands of people around the world. One of the most philanthropic individuals in our community, along with Jack Hanna, made the Columbus Zoo the #1 zoo in America through his philanthropic investment, support, encouragement. The McConnell Heart Health Center, tied to Ohio Health here in Columbus, part of the largest healthcare system in the state of Ohio. And so we love the underdog story, his hard, determined work. And his success, I believe, boils down to something he wrote in his book. A book very simple, very thin, entitled Our Golden Rule. So his success was driven by his underlying purpose. We treat our customers, employees, investors, and suppliers as we would like to be treated. We recognize that as the golden rule, spoken so many times throughout the scriptures. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I can relate to that. The youngest of 3 boys, born in Lincoln, Maine, which is northern Appalachia. My father left school after the 6th grade because his dad died, and my dad needed to go to work to provide income for the family. My dad was a sharecropper. He lived on the property. He did not own the property. He cut the lumber. The owner of the property took some of the profit. My dad took the rest of the profit to feed the family. Youngest of 3 boys. I like to say, well, where's Lincoln, Maine? So I like to say that every road in the state of Maine, if you get on them and drive north, they all eventually end up in a single dusty, bumpy, dirty lane. And sooner or later, if you keep driving north, you see a sign that says Lincoln, Maine, 1 mile, edge of civilization, 1.1 mile. So that is the burden that I place upon myself as a kid growing up in Maine and New York, Colorado, and eventually Columbus. Where did I fit in? How did I come to grips with what I felt was lacking within me when somehow I knew there was something more else out there? So I believe that we all see ourselves in a struggle along the way through life. A number of years ago, I came across a cartoon in the Sunday paper. The title of the cartoon is Agnes, and it's this relationship between Agnes and her friend Trout. So this is Agnes. August, the perfect time to write my novel. Trout, you already wrote a novel. Agnes, yes, but this will not have hope for the human race. This novel will be about me. Trout, why would anyone want to read a novel about you? Agnes, don't worry. It's not about the me that I am. It's about the me that I would be if I had more time. And so I think we create excuses for ourselves to fill in the gaps in our lives. The gap could be, I need to find that mate. I need to go to Harvard University. I need to live in the right zip code. I need to become a millionaire by such and such an age. I need to pastor a congregation of 5,000 people. One of the fixes, and you can tell if you're involved in today's program that I'm a person of faith. I'm a believer in God. I love this guy, Jesus of Nazareth. But in addition to that, one of the fixes, one of the things that began to fill in some of the gaps in my life was a book written by Dr. Francis Schaeffer, was released in 1974, called No Little People. See, because I grew up believing I was a little person from a little place. I grew up in the country, small town, nothing special about me. I grew up with I'm just a syndrome. I'm just the youngest of 3 boys. I'm just the son of a sharecropper. I'm just a. Well, Dr. Francis Schaeffer states in his book, in God's sight, there are no little people and there are no little places. There are only individuals who live their lives in consecrated moments of obedience. And when they do so, God gives them the power to influence the flow of a generation. That filled my soul. That said that I was created with worth. And like Dr. Miles Monroe says, you were created for a purpose. And because you are here, you have something the world needs. Now, that is an entire flip of the switch, that I have to go and do things in life to prove my worth, or I'm given the privilege of knowing my purpose in life so that I can go out and contribute to the lives of others. So the second part of what I want to share today is kind of talk about the journey. Sometime along the road of life, we go on this journey. Well, how am I going to figure this out? Where do I get the information? And all we have in our hands at that time are our life experiences and what we believe. Those are the two bags we carry with us, even while we're still trying to come to a point of understanding our identity. Some of my early experiences were, and early failures put me on the course in life, because all the smartest kids in my my high school took trigonometry and physics and all these other classes, so I needed to keep up with them. Well, I failed at physics, and I sat through the class for 2 weeks, had no idea what anyone was talking about. In shame, went over and left the class and took business law. At the end of the year, I got the highest grade in the business law class. What myself and my two brothers realized, we all excelled in business courses, but we had no passion for them. My oldest brother has 2 doctorate degrees. He went on to become a school psychologist. So he chose a path where business would have been easy, and the 3 Hook brothers could have stayed there. And in our own little way, we could have owned the Harlem Valley by this point in our lives, just through a variety of business initiatives. But somehow it wasn't a big enough goal or challenge. My middle brother, Jack, he went on to work with the criminally insane. And I've kind of been in the people helping business for the majority of my life. So 2 weeks ago, my wife and I were visiting a friend here in Columbus. She owns a manufacturing company worth $20 million. And they manufacture one of the smallest parts that's used to service the auto industry, the warehouse industry. Took us through her factory, showed it. She was incredibly excited about it. And I looked at that and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, good for her, $20 million company. And part of me is thinking, boy, it'd be great at my stage in life to own that company, cash it out. And to which my wife agreed. But then she said, oh, but I had to marry a holy man. I had to marry a man who was not motivated by manufacturing and money. And I said, honey, I'm not quite that holy. But again, I share that to indicate that there was something early on in my life that was driving me, that was not tied to achieving in a way many others were achieving in the world. Another thing I learned about myself, I love the mix of culture. I'm looking at this screen today. I see black, white, brown. I see old. I see young. I see all of this. I was one of 3 upstate New York Gentile boys living with 3 New York City Jews at State University of New York at Albany. I was the only white guy on an all-black flag football team. I worked with a mix of races at Denver Juvenile Hall. Something in that excited me because it was always going to be bigger than I was. It was always going to be something I needed to learn. And it was always going to be an opportunity to serve. So I went on a path to be in the business of helping others. It doesn't make me any better than anybody else. It's just I found my path and I followed it. And that path put me eyeball to eyeball with Alejandro at Denver Juvenile Hall. I remember reading the newspaper that morning, talked about a kid who had been incarcerated, picked up for accused of raping a little girl. And my first reaction was to introduce him to my baseball bat. not to love and a listening ear. But when I walked through the doors of Denver Juvenile Hall, I needed to be about what was best for him, the little girl, her family. I needed to become an opportunity to begin the restoration process in his life, whatever that might look like. Where he is today, I don't know. But there was also a little girl named Star, and she was a runaway, and she was in and out of the detention center multiple times. 7 or 8 years ago, I get a message on Facebook. Are you the Harvey Hook that used to come visit me at Denver Juvenile Hall? Well, Harvey Hook's a pretty rare name, so obviously the answer was yes. And she wanted me to know she's okay, married, mother, employed, and she thanked me for being there at that moment in time when she needed somebody to be there. And again, that was giving me more clues to my purpose in life. Albert Einstein, the universe could not operate on chance. God does not play dice. I believe that. I don't believe we are a die rolled across the gambling table of life by a distant, indifferent, higher life form. I believe we were created for a purpose, and to quote Miles Monroe, because you are here, you have something the world needs. People, circumstances, triumph, and tragedy will act upon you. What will you do? Let me talk here a few moments what I call the arrival or the arriving. We talk a lot about purpose. Very few people can tell you their purpose in life. 8 out of 10 people walking around cannot definitively tell you their purpose in life. I just went to Merriam-Webster's dictionary. Purpose defined the original intent for a thing, the reason for which something was created. I like that definition because I believe we can all coalesce around it. We can all agree it's not too religious, it's not too amorphous. We can all, yeah, there's something in there that I can relate to. If you can answer the question, why on earth am I here, then you know your purpose in life. And by the way, people who know their purpose in life are healthier, happier, carry less stress, live longer, and are up to 38% more productive than their workforce peers. I've talked to a number of CEOs in Central Ohio in the last few years seeking to institute a purpose-driven culture in their workplace, going beyond other forms of soft skills, realizing that if we can engage people around their purpose and they bring their purpose to work, and their purpose is in alignment with the purpose and mission of the company, everybody benefits, because they are people who do not need to be recognized for achievement and performance. The fact that they embrace their purpose alone will make them high performers. So a lot of talk about purpose. So where do you find purpose? Purpose can be found at the intersection of passion. Passion is what you love. And if you were with us earlier and met KD, this KD is the consummate expression of passion. Passion is what you love. It's what gets you out of bed in the morning. So if you feel you're on a pathway in life and want better clarity on your purpose, I'm simply old school. I don't have an app for this. We need a legal pad. We need a pen. What do I love? What gets me out of bed in the morning? What fills my soul? That is a great place to begin. The mission. What does the world need? And the second, what are you uniquely equipped to bring to the table to address that. See, I believe our purpose is driven by our passion, but it also addresses a need in the world. Now, not everyone has the opportunity to be employed around their purpose. A lot of starving artists out there, a lot of starving musicians out there. But I think many times people confuse their current role in life with their purpose. I believe there are some people whose purpose in life is to be the best mom on planet Earth. I believe for most, being a mom is part of the delivery system of your purpose. So passion, what do you love? Mission, what does the world need? Calling. I'm going to talk about calling. Let me come back to that in just a moment. Many people right now would talk about your vocation as what you get paid to do, which I believe is a vital and valuable place to look at, investigate what are people paying you to do and how does that contribute, or your profession, what you're really good at doing. Those are very, very important. But passion, mission, calling. Calling is the inner urging towards a passion, cause, or career. It's an inner urging towards a passion, cause, or career. So early on, I had to deny myself from the challenge of keeping up with my peers who more athletic, smarter, greater financial resources, which caused me to look within. Where am I going to go with who I am? I love this. Miles Monroe, I'm quoting that man a lot. Read his book, In Pursuit of Purpose. What you are called to do is already within you. God wants you to carry his dream as a pregnant woman carries her child. Something about this man that always inspires me. So how do we hear our call? How do we talk about passion, mission, calling? We hear our call in silence, reflection, and journaling. And as an introvert, that's pretty easy for me to do. You extroverts, it tends to freak out the average extrovert. Really? I'm married to an extrovert, and she started about 15 different journals over the course of our marriage, and they're kind of scattered around the house. My 7 journals are all neatly stacked right next to my leather chair. And so I go on this journey. It's important to look at the milestones of our life. What was significant about them? They will tell us something about ourselves. What do other people tell us about us? Very, very important. And one of the greatest assessment tools I've taken advantage of over the years is the Enneagram assessment, which helped me recognize who I am as a person. It confirmed what I only guessed about myself. And by embracing the feedback from the Enneagram assessment tool, it was one of the key steps in fully releasing me to be who I am. I no longer need to be that person over there. How can I know my purpose in life? Ask yourself these questions. Who am I? Why am I here? How should I live? Who am I? Why am I here? How should I live? What gives me great joy? Key, what makes me cry? What makes me cry? I'm going to skip over a couple of things here in light of our time frame. So I've talked a lot about my purpose, and you would all let me off the hook, but nobody on the call would ask me my purpose in life, maybe. So there are 2 iterations of my purpose in life. Early on, when I'm working with inner city kids in Columbus, Denver, kids and families, third world poverty in Dominican Republic, purpose in life, to serve God is his instrument, revealing his love to the world. Very big, very broad. I can take that into any circumstance in my life. It fits. I'm very comfortable with ambiguity. I reworked that a little bit during my years at the Gathering and Relay Leadership when I was working with business professional and government leaders. To transform culture through transformed leaders. That then became my purpose in life. It's something I would never fully achieve in this lifetime. I realized that a little person from a little place, like a David with a smooth stone in his sling, still has value, still has worth, and still can meet the President of the United States, still can introduce business, professional, and government leaders. Meet Billy Graham, Tony Dungy, Immaculée Ilibagiza, survivor of the Rwandan genocide. Bring their stories to our community so that their stories could feed, challenge, inspire the leaders in our community to pursue best who they were. So those are the two iterations of my purpose. Right now, I'm going to ask Ralph to cue up a 2-minute video. Because of my passion for this, I've created a program called Purpose Live Institute, 10-month program that will take people on a journey to discover their purpose in life and equip them with a game plan by which it can be fulfilled. Ralph, you want to run that video?
Purpose Live was created to help people discover their purpose in life. Dr. King once said, purpose is where who you are and what you do touch both God and humanity. And here's the truth. The world is waiting for people to come alive. Purpose Live exists so you can embrace your passion, which is what you love to do. Pursue your mission, which is what the world needs, and fulfill your profession, which is what you're good at doing. Because of that, I created Purpose Live Institute. We will reveal your purpose in a community of trusted friends, release you from the constraints that hold you back, and equip you with a plan to live your life to the very fullest. 80% of all people cannot tell you why on earth they are here. Think about that. However, people who know their purpose are healthier, more active, and they live longer. They're up to 38% more productive than their workforce peers, and they're far more authentic and free. And beyond that, they live for a cause greater than themselves. If you're interested in becoming one of those people who've come alive, then send me an email, give me a phone call, sign up for our next class, or financially underwrite the tuition of a student who needs your help. I'm Harvey Hook for Purpose Live Institute.
I just want to thank you all for the opportunity to be with you and share with you this morning. And I'm going to kick it back over to Ralph and Amy for any questions you may have for me, or thank you.
All right, thanks, Harvey. And I know that I can see that there has been some activity in the chat, but I can't quite see the messages. So, Amy, if you want to just read those off, and I don't have to put you on the camera unless you want to be there. You just let me know. But if you want to read off any questions, and we'll see if we can respond to those.
Sure. Thanks, Ralph. We have some folks that are interested in enjoying and sharing some more of Katie's videos. So wondering if she could share for us what platforms on social media she's on and how to find her.
All right.
Switch over to you. Go ahead, chime in on that.
Yes, sir. Definitely. We definitely thank you for that. Thank you for sharing. I am on YouTube, KD French. You can find me on Instagram, and it's KD_French. There is my personal Facebook page, KD French, and I have a fan page, KD French Fans. So there you could find and share, however. I'm just grateful for you. Thank you.
I was going to try to send Katie a friend request, but it looked like she had the limit. So you might have to X out some people to let me in there. So thank you for that. What other questions did you have, Amy, for the group?
Right now, that's all we have, unless some folks want to go ahead and shoot something over. We have a question for Harvey. from Steve, just inquiring about the Purpose Live Institute, about tuition costs, and when the next cohort is scheduled to start.
Hey, thank you thank you very much. We will launch Purpose Live Institute. The first cohort will begin the third week of January 2021. It will be, again, another impact of COVID. It'll be virtual. It'll be online. And we will be signing up individuals between now and then. The cost is $1,200 for an individual. I believe two to four people is $1,050. And if you can put together a group of 5, it's $900. Those payments can be made on a monthly basis. Right now, the program looks like via the virtual platform, it'll be an hour and a half per month for the next 10 months. It will involve reading 3 books, taking 2 assessments, and some journaling, some reflections. And we really, really believe it's being designed in a format that will take you deeply into yourself, a deeper understanding of who you are. And our goal is for all of our participants to be able to communicate their purpose in 12 words or less.
Great. Are there any other questions out there?
Ralph, I don't have any at this time.
Okay, well, I would like to also ask Katie if she would like to jump back in and add anything else to the conversation before we close out this morning.
Yes, that no problem. I just always feel like, each day that I get up, I'm constantly or instantly just giving God my praise, because it could be different. We're in a place right now where we may not understand what's going on. We can think it be foolish, but I always want us to definitely do as we're asked to do, practicing safety, practicing and taking care of ourselves as well as others. And I know that God will make a way. That song hit me all over again once they replayed it. And I was just like, I know that God will make a way through this time that we're in. He's brought us this far. He will not leave us. I believe that. I believe that He's about to do a new thing. So if you will, just continue to trust Him. He'll lead you. He'll guide you. And just make Him your desire. Everything else will fall into place.
Thank you so much. It was such a joy to get to talk to you. And like I said, if you want to X out a few of those other people that aren't really friends, you can make a space for me. Make a way. That's what I say. Make a way. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
As we close out, I'm just going to just again thank our sponsors and Cova Insurance, Overmeyer Hall Associates, the Joseph Group Capital Management, Fifth Third Bank, Marketing Works, Nationwide Children's Hospital, IGS Energy, and Arnett Technologies. And Katie, if you don't mind, I think that what I'll do to kind of take us out is to play Make a Way again, and that'll be our exit song. How about that? So thanks,
That's
everybody.
all right.
Happy holidays, and be safe, wear a mask, and we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.
I know the Lord will make a way. Oh, yes, He will.
I know the Lord will make a way. Yeah. Yes, He will. Yeah. Come on. I said, I know the Lord
Yes, he will. Yes, he will.
Yes, he will.
Yes, he will. Yes,
When it
he
seems
will.
to be no way
Yes,
out,
he will.
He will. Oh, yes, he will.
Yes, he will.
Thank you, God.
Yes,